Hi, and welcome back to another AI in 5. I'm your host, Simon Chris. Joining me today is Dr. Joel Pearson. Now, Joel is a neuroscientist and he's also Deputy Director of the UNSW AI Institute. And we're going to be talking about the human side of AI. Hey, Joel, welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure, Simon. Good to see you.
Now, your work is kind of the human side of AI. I mean, often on this podcast, I'm talking to builders and designers, and we're talking about the software and the hardware. Your work's more focused around the human side of AI, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so a couple of years back, we switched. So I'm a neuroscientist, psychological scientist by training, even though I've also studied fine arts, was going to be a filmmaker. That's a day for
Okay.
another podcast. But yeah, a couple of years back, I just realized how big an impact this, what I call an intelligence revolution, I do think it is that, is going to have on people, their relationships, how they learn, how they're entertained, how they work,
Hmm.
the economy, you name it, every sort of strata of society is going to be disrupted. And that kind of impact needed some help. It needed management. So we started thinking about that. So every aspect of, how to manage with that change and the uncertainty that this sort of AI revolution is really bringing.
And this plays out in the corporate arena, right? There's so much mistrust of AI, I guess. Do you think that's just because we're not communicating enough with people, or because there's some other thing that they're scared of or haven't done change? Like, what is it?
Yeah, so yeah, and a few things. Yeah, Australia always scores really high on this, lack of trust.
Yeah.
And people are fearful. There's a big difference. There's a big inequality in the understanding of what AI is and what it's not and what's going to happen. And it's a few things. So, I mean, for the last 4 years, a lot of the discussion has been, a lot of journalists and politicians have gone to computer engineers, computer scientists, tech CEOs, and asked them about, the future. What is their advice? What is education? How, what's going to happen to our kids? And a lot of those questions are outside their area of expertise, or they've answered with their, computer science bias, which is to talk about misalignment, and then you get to the Terminator scenarios. So it has kind of sort of permeated this kind of scare tactic, this fear of that one day, somewhere in the future, we're all going to die, AI is going to wipe us out. And I don't, there's no evidence that's going to happen. And a lot of the people a lot of technologists that make those predictions sort of always use the animal kingdom and, we're going to be ants and AI is going to be like us, but they're really not good. They're bad analogies. They suffer from anthropomorphizing. AI is not like us. It's not like, a
Yep.
competitive biological species trying to dominate. And so my take is on the human side is, yes, we could worry about this possibility somewhere in the future that may or may not happen. I personally think it's probably not going to happen.
Hmm.
Or we could sort of pay attention and put resources into what's happening on the ground now. And that is stress and uncertainty. When I talk to people everywhere, students, employees, they're worried about their jobs, their mortgage, or they're worried about what their kids are going to be doing, at university or after that, what kind of jobs are going to be there. Are they studying the right thing? They're worried about their teenagers using AI companions for hours every day. So this is all happening already and has been happening for a while. And so I kind of get, a little bit annoyed sometimes when all the attention gets sucked out of the room to these possible future scenarios when already, stuff's happening that we need to pay attention to. So that's really where the work we're doing comes in, trying to help companies, help families with adapting to this new world. And when
In
it comes to companies, it's this AI change management piece. So we've been working on AI specific change management models because I think that
hmm.
is one of the best lens to, not only for a business but for a whole country like Australia to look at what's happening at the moment.
I was going to say, in like our last minute, how do you, in 1 minute, how do you allay some of these fears? Like, let's just take workers, oh, AI is going to take my job. Those of us that know the industry know that that's probably not going to happen. You're going to get augmented rather than taken. But how do we allay those fears in these people?
Well, the first part is the uncertainty piece. It comes with change. So you don't need to actually lose your job before your quality of your life is impacted. This the uncertainty, not knowing the future is like, a scary stimulus. It puts us into fight
Yeah.
or flight. It triggers stress and anxiety. So we need to sort of figure out new ways of people on a personal level dealing with this new uncertain world, but also the companies we work for and the government as well, to sort of allay this scare, this fearfulness from uncertainty. If we can do that, we can bring people's stress levels back down. They can see things a little bit more clearly. And then there's a lot of roadmaps. We understand a lot about how to manage change, and we can do it pretty well now. So it's really about bringing in all the knowledge, all the findings we've had from, decades of organizational change management into the AI era and adapt them for sort of ongoing continuous change. And if we do that, focus on those 2 points, I really think we can sort of maximize the upside while minimizing the downsides of everything that's
Mm.
happening at this moment.
Yeah, wonderful. And we need to get the media on side.
Yeah,
Believe it or
exactly.
not, we're at time.
Boom. Yeah.
But I love to ask everybody the same question, which is what would be your bit of advice for an organization that's early in their AI journey, or maybe even just starting their AI journey? What should they be thinking about? What should they be doing?
Uh, well, don't treat it like another piece of software. It's not like another piece of software. Don't buy a license, hand it out. Think about the people, pay attention to the human side of it, the human change management, and also figure out what you want to do with it before. Don't just jump on the bandwagon and say everyone has to use AI for anything. It doesn't matter. Figure
Mm.
out how you want to use this new tool because it can be absolutely transformative, but you need to put some thought into it. It's really not another piece of software. It's a much bigger, very different change. So the business often needs to change. The hierarchies need to change, of course. Data storage, management, and flows need to change. And people need to be comfortable with it and be excited about it. So really pay attention to all of that sort of change piece.
Awesome. This has been a great AN5. Joel, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure, Simon. Anytime.